They told her she was too much, too emotional, too complicated, too loud, too bold. But maybe, just maybe, that's because they couldn't handle the power of a woman who refused to shrink. Today, I want to talk about something that lives in the shadows of every woman's life of flaws. Not the kind you see in mirrors, but the kind that society paints on your soul. The traits you were told made you less than. The habits, feelings, or instincts you were conditioned to silence. But what if I told you that your flaws are actually your superpowers? Yes, you heard me right. Let's strip away the shame. Let's dig deeper into the truths that make you you. Because what society sees as broken or flawed might just be the very thing that makes you powerful beyond measure. Let's begin. 1. She's too emotional. They say you cry too easily. You wear your heart on your sleeve. You're too sensitive. But here's the truth. Emotion is not weakness. Emotion is connection. It's empathy, it's intuition, it's the fuel behind every revolutionary movement, every act of compassion, every brave voice that says, "This is not okay." A woman who feels deeply is a woman who loves fiercely. She becomes the healer of families, the heart of communities, and the leader who doesn't just command with logic, but leads with love. That emotion they told you to hide, it's your compass. It's what makes you human, and it's what makes you divine. 2. She overthinks everything they market. You're overanalyzing again. Just let it go. Stop worrying so much. But overthinking isn't always anxiety. It's the mind of a strategist. It's someone who anticipates outcomes, who plans for obstacles, who thinks 10 steps ahead because her survival once depended on it. That tendency to think deeply, to consider everyone's feelings, to weigh consequences, that's not a flaw. That's wisdom, that's leadership, that's emotional intelligence on fire. The woman who overthinks often leads with a plan, a backup plan, and an escape route. She's not unstable, she's prepared. 3. She's too loud or too quiet. Some women are told, "You're too loud, tone it down." Others hear, "Why are you so quiet? Speak up." But here's what's hidden in that paradox. A loud woman owns her voice. She refuses to be invisible. A quiet woman holds her power in stillness. She sees everything. Whether you speak with thunder or whisper with precision, your voice has value. The volume doesn't define your power. Your truth does, so whether you are fire or water, know this, your presence is a force. Don't let the world mute your energy just because it doesn't understand your frequency. 4. She's too ambitious. You work too hard. Don't be so obsessed. You're too competitive. Why is it that ambition in men is admired, but in women it's called aggressive? Let me tell you something. That fire inside you, the one that dreams big, works late and never settles, is not a flaw. It's your engine. You were not born to dim your light so others can shine. Your ambition is not a threat. It's an invitation for others to rise with you. Keep climbing, keep dreaming, keep breaking ceilings. Because every brick you break becomes a stepping stone for another woman behind you. 5. She cares too much about what others think. They roll their eyes and say, "You're too concerned with what people say." Why do you need validation? But caring isn't a weakness, it's a reflection of empathy. Yes, you may feel the pressure to please, to be liked, to be accepted, but you also have the rare ability to see others, to connect, to include. With time and healing, this flaw becomes discernment. It becomes social intelligence. It becomes the power to bring people together, to read the room, to lead with grace. The woman who once cared too much about everyone's opinion learns to listen selectively. She doesn't stop caring, she just learns who deserves that care. 6. She's too sensitive. They scoff. You take things too personally. You need thicker skin. But sensitivity is not fragility. It's a superpower of awareness. It means you feel what others miss. You absorb the subtle shifts, the unspoken pain, the energy in the room. Yes, it can be overwhelming, but it's also a gift. The sensitive woman becomes the artist, the poet, the counselor, the soul who brings light into dark places. She doesn't just see the world, she feels it, and in doing so, she creates change with compassion at its core. 7. She's too independent. You don't need anyone. You're intimidating. You should let someone take care of you. They make independence sound like isolation, but in truth it's self-mastery. The woman who walks alone doesn't do it out of arrogance, she does it out of strength. She's learned to trust herself, to earn her own way, to build without permission. She's not pushing people away, she's protecting her peace. And when she chooses partnership, she does so from wholeness, not dependency. Her independence isn't a wall. It's a filter, so only the worthy make it through. 8. She's too forgiving. They say, you let people walk all over you. You forgive too easily, but don't confuse forgiveness with weakness. It takes incredible strength to let go of bitterness, to rise above revenge, to choose peace when pain is justified. The woman who forgives is not naive, she's wise. She knows that holding on to anger burns the one who carries it. Forgiveness is freedom, it's clarity, it's choosing joy over chains, and a woman who forgives. She doesn't forget, she just refuses to let pain own her. 9. She's too dramatic. They laugh. You make a big deal out of everything. You're too intense. But drama, in its raw form, is passion. It's the bold expression of truth. It's living life out loud. It's the refusal to be numb, the so-called dramatic. Woman is often the one who breathes life into dull rooms, who dares to speak the unspoken, who turns pain into poetry. Her intensity is not a burden. It's color, it's fire, it's movement, it's art. Let her be loud, let her feel. Let her live. 10. She's too much, the final flaw. The dagger wrapped in sugar. You're too much, too intense, too emotional, too loud, too ambitious, too complicated, too smart, too proud, too alive. But here's what they're really saying. You're powerful, and that scares us. Because a woman who embraces her full self without apology is unstoppable. She doesn't need permission. She doesn't need acceptance. She knows who she is. So yes, maybe you are too much, but maybe the world has been too small. Dear woman listening to this, you are not too flawed. You are full of fire, of softness, of contradictions that make you real, complex, beautiful, and whole. Your flaws, they're not flaws at all. They're signs that you feel, that you care, that you live, so reclaim them. Own them, let them guide you, because the very things that make you different are the things that make you divine. The world doesn't need more perfect women. It needs real ones, raw ones, flawed and fearless ones, and that woman is you. So rise, not despite your so-called flaws, but because of them. They are not your shame. They are your superpowers. Every so-called flaw in a woman's character is often a misinterpreted strength buried beneath society's biased lens. But let's pause here and really let that sink in. For centuries, women have been handed a script, one that dictates who they should be, how they should act, what they should feel, and more dangerously, what they should not feel. And when a woman dares to step outside that script, when she expresses herself too boldly, loves too deeply, thinks too critically, or dreams too unapologetically, society doesn't know what to do with her, so it labels her. It calls her too much, too difficult, too emotional, too cold, too loud, too independent. But those labels are not truth, they're fear. Fear of feminine power, fear of authenticity, fear of someone who cannot be controlled, and so these flaws are not real flaws. They are signs of a soul refusing to be boxed in. They are traits that, when seen through the right lens, are nothing short of superpowers. Empathy that leads to healing, sensitivity that leads to understanding, ambition that breaks boundaries, independence that builds empires. This speech, right here, right now, is about more than just empowerment. It's about reclamation. It's about taking back every word, every critique, every side glance or backhanded compliment that tried to make you feel like you were broken. It's about standing tall and saying, if this is a flaw, then let me be flawed forever. Because when you see the truth behind the label, when you look beyond the surface and into the essence of who you are, You realize that the things they try to shame you for are the very things that make you magnificent. This isn't about pretending we're perfect. It's about realizing we don't need to be. It's about power, not the kind that dominates, but the kind that radiates. So today, we redefine, we rewrite. We rise, we take back the narrative, and we turn every wound into wisdom, every scar into strength, and every so-called flaw into freedom. Because once a woman stops apologizing for who she is, she doesn't just change her life, she changes the world. The very things women are told to tone down, hide, or apologize for, like being too emotional, too sensitive, too ambitious, or too loud, are in fact signals of incredible inner power, resilience, and leadership potential. But isn't that the irony? From the moment a girl begins to show signs of passion, fire, or depth, she's taught to shrink, to soften her voice, to dilute her dreams, to hold back her tears, to guess her instinct. She's told, don't be dramatic, don't take it personally, don't aim so high, don't speak so loudly. And slowly, those divine traits, those flames of individuality, are tucked away, folded into silence, pressed beneath politeness, as if they were shameful. But what if I told you that those traits weren't meant to be hidden? What if I told you they are not accidents in your personality, but intentional gifts? Let's talk about that too emotional label. Emotion is not chaos, it is intuition. It is the bridge that connects mind to heart. Women who feel deeply don't break easily. They bend, they absorb, they heal. Their emotions guide them toward what's right, what's real, and what needs to change. Too sensitive? No, that sensitivity is a radar. It picks up on what others miss. It senses tension, absorbs energy, and feels both the pain and the joy of others. Sensitivity is not a burden. It is the soul's most compassionate armor. Too ambitious. That's not arrogance. That's vision. Ambition in a woman means she sees what could be, not just what is. It means she has the courage to chase excellence even when the world says, settle. Ambitious women are the architects of progress. And too loud. Loud isn't obnoxious. It's audacity, it's voice. It's a woman refusing to go unheard. A woman who raises her voice is a woman who has found her truth and refuses to let the world ignore it. So what society calls too much is actually more than enough, because these very qualities, emotion, sensitivity, ambition, and boldness, are the cornerstones of powerful leadership. They are the ingredients of revolution. They are the reason women build families, run businesses, lead movements, write books, start empires, and rise again and again from the ashes. The world may ask you to hide them, but your power lies in honoring them, because once a woman stops apologizing for her intensity, for her depth, for her truth, she becomes unshakable. And that woman changes everything. When a woman reclaims her flaws and wears them like armor, she becomes unstoppable, not because the world allowed her to be, but because she dared to see her full self as worthy, fierce, and divine. You see, true transformation doesn't begin when the world accepts her. It begins the moment she accepts herself, the moment she stops trying to edit herself for other people's comfort, the moment she stops shrinking to fit into boxes built by fear. The moment she no longer views her softness as weakness, her fire as a threat, her voice as too loud, or her ambition as too much. That's when everything changes, because reclaiming your so-called flaws isn't just self-love. It's revolutionary. It's a refusal to apologize for who you are. It's a declaration that you are no longer waiting for permission to exist fully. It's taking every scar, every misjudged trait, every label slapped on you, and turning them into armor. Not armor that hardens you, but armor that protects you, armor made of truth, armor made of self-respect, armor made of the battles you've already survived. And when a woman walks through the world fully in her truth, flawed, radiant, real, she cannot be manipulated, broken, or erased. She becomes a force so grounded in who she is that no rejection can shake her, No opinion can shrink her, no system can silence her. She becomes a mirror, reflecting back to other women what's possible when we rise without apology. So no, she's not unstoppable because life made it easy. She's unstoppable because she chose to rise even when the world told her not to, because she looked at every so-called flaw and said, "This too is me, and I love her." And that kind of self-acceptance, that kind of fire, it's untouchable, it's holy, it's freedom,